Hello and welcome to another Liceo Math Club tutorial. For today, we are going to learn about the ellipse and how to graph it on a rectangular plane given a standard equation. So what is an ellipse? In simple terms, it looks like an oval or an oblong. However, in mathematics, an ellipse is a curve which results from slicing a double nap cone by a plane which is parallel to the generator of the cone. It is a set of points in the plane such that the sum of the distances from any point on the ellipse to two other fixed points remain the same, or is constant. The two fixed points are called the foci. The parts that make up an ellipse are the following. First is the center. It is the point in the middle of the ellipse and is labeled as coordinates hk. Next is the major axis. It is the longer line that runs through the center of the ellipse. The variable a is the letter used to name the distance from the center to the ellipse on the major axis. Vertex or vertices are the endpoints of the major axis that are on the ellipse. Next is the minor axis. It is a shorter line that's perpendicular to the major axis that runs through the center. The variable b is the letter used to name the distance to the ellipse from the center on the major axis. Covertex or covertices are the endpoints of the minor axis that are on the ellipse. Lastly, the foci are two fixed points that always lie on the major axis. The standard form of the equation of an ellipse with center at the origin and has a major axis parallel to the x-axis or is a horizontal ellipse is x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared equals 1. Wherein a is greater than b. The length of the major axis is 2a, and the coordinates of the vertices are plus minus a, 0. The length of the minor axis is 2b. The coordinates of the covertices are 0, plus minus b. And lastly, the coordinates of the foci are plus minus c, 0. And in order to find the value of c, use the formula c squared equals a squared minus b squared. X squared over 36 plus y squared over 4 equals 1 is an equation of an ellipse in standard form centered at the origin. Now what are the values of a and b? A is 6 and b is 2. In order to get the value of a, find the square root of 36 and do the same thing with b. The length of the major axis is 2a, which equates to 12, and the length of the minor axis is 2b, which equates to 4. The ellipse, when plotted, would be a horizontal ellipse because the major axis is parallel to the x-axis. In order to find the vertices, use the coordinates plus minus a, 0, which are coordinates 6, 0, and negative 6, 0. Next, to find the covertices, use the coordinates 0, plus minus b, which are 0, 2, and 0, negative 2. Lastly, the coordinates of the foci are plus minus c, 0. In order to find c, use the formula c squared equals to a squared minus b squared. The final answers are 4 square root of 2, 0, and negative 4 square root of 2, 0. After determining the coordinates, you can now plot them on the Cartesian plane and use it to draw the ellipse. This is what x squared over 36 plus y squared over 4 equals 1 would look like when graphed. The standard form of an equation of an ellipse with center at the origin and has a major axis parallel to the y-axis is x squared over b squared plus y squared over a squared equals 1, wherein a is greater than b. The length of the major axis is 2a. The coordinates of the vertices are 0 plus minus a. The length of the minor axis is 2b. The coordinates of the covertices are plus minus b, 0. And lastly, the coordinates of the foci are 0, plus minus c. Again, in order to find the value of c, use the formula c squared equals a squared minus b squared. x squared over 9 plus y squared over 25 equals 1 is an equation of an ellipse in standard form centered at the origin. Now what are the values of a and b? A is 5 and b is 3. Again, in order to get the value of a, find the square root of 25 and do the same thing with b. Length of the major axis is 2a, which equates to 10. Length of the minor axis is 2b, which equates to 6. The ellipse, when plotted, will be a vertical ellipse because the major axis is parallel to the y-axis. To find the vertices, use the coordinates 0, plus, minus a, which are coordinates 0, 5, and 0, negative 5. Next, to find the co-vertices, use the coordinates plus, minus b, 0, which are 3, 0, and negative 3, 0. Lastly, to find the coordinates of the foci, use 0 plus minus c. In order to find the value of c, use the same formula. C squared equals a squared minus b squared. The final answers are 0, 4, and 0, negative 4. After you have solved for the coordinates of the ellipse, you can now sketch the graph. The equation x squared over 9 plus y squared over 25 equals 1 would look like this when graphed. The standard form of the equation of an ellipse with center HK and major axis is parallel to the x-axis is x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1, where a is greater than b. The center of the ellipse is HK, which can already be seen on the equation. The length of the major axis is still 2a, and the minor axis is 2b. To find the vertices, use h plus minus a, k. To find the coordinates of the co-vertices, use h, k plus minus b. And lastly, to find the coordinates of the foci, use h plus minus c, k. Use the same formula given previously to find c. Let's try to determine the values of the coordinates of the equation x minus 4 squared over 36 plus y minus 2 squared over 20 equals 1. What are the values of a and b? Find the square roots of 36 and 20. A is 6 and b is 2 square root of 5. The center can be determined using the values of h and k on the equation. The center is 4 and 2. Remember to flip the signs always. Since the major axis is parallel to the x-axis, this equation is a horizontal ellipse. The coordinates of the vertices are h plus minus a, k, which are negative 2, 2, and 10, 2. Next, the coordinates of the co-vertices are h, k plus minus b, which are 4, 2 minus 2 square root of 5, 4, 2 plus 2 square root of 5. Lastly, to find the foci, use h plus minus c, k. Use the same formula to find the value of c first, and then the coordinates are 0, 2, and 8, 2.
After solving, you can now sketch the ellipse. This is the graph of the equation. The quantity of x minus 4 squared over 36 plus the quantity of y minus 2 squared over 20 equals to 1. The standard form of the equation of the ellipse that is not centered at the origin and its major axis is parallel to the y-axis is the quantity of x minus h squared over b squared plus the quantity of y minus k squared over a squared is equals to 1, where is a is greater than b. Still, the center of the ellipse is hk, which can already be seen on the equation. The length of the major axis is still 2a, while the minor axis is still 2b. To find the vertices, use h and k plus minus a. To find the coordinates of the co-vertices, use h and k plus minus b. Lastly, to find the coordinate of the fuzzy, use h and k plus c. K plus minus c rather. Use the same formula given previously to find the c. The example equation given is the quantity of x plus 2 squared over 4 plus the quantity of y minus 5 squared over 9 equals 1. Looking at the equation, what is the center? The center is negative 2 and 5. Remember to flip the signs. This ellipse is vertical ellipse because the major axis is parallel to the y-axis. The coordinates of the vertices are negative 2, 2 and negative 2, 8, which were determined using the h and k plus a. The coordinates of the co-vertices are negative 2, 5 plus square root of 5 and negative 2, 5 minus square root of 5, which was determined using h and k plus c. The c was solved using the formula c equals a squared minus b squared. You can now sketch the graph on the plane after solving for its coordinates. So this is the graph of the quantity of x plus 2 squared over 4 plus the quantity of y minus 5 squared over 9 equals to 1. So that's it. Thank you, and I hope you have learned something from this video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more tutorials.